The waves didn't just take a man, they took a voice, a truth, a legacy. On the golden shores of Costa Rica, Malcolm Jamal Warner walked into the sea and never came back.
Will never go away. It'll always be with me. And I think I saw somewhere the sadness is a reminder of how much he means to me. Just feel like, I did something right in life with him,
We will never know. I don't think any of us will never know what the truth is, and you're talking about so many different, there's so many different aspects to
Malcolm Jamal Warner, dead at the age of 54 on a drowning accident while he was vacationing with his family in Costa Rica. Joining us now, Bomani Jones, host of the Right Time with Bomani Jones podcast.
To the world, it was a tragic accident. A father swept away by the current. But to those paying attention, it was a story too perfect, too polished, too convenient.
He wasn't supposed to die that day.
He was supposed to celebrate. His daughter had just turned 8. He posted a video, smiling, hair adorned with a flower she had placed there. "There's always a reason to smile," he said, looking right into the lens. That same day, the smile vanished. The man vanished. And a tidal wave of secrets crashed behind him. The official report claimed Malcolm drowned after being caught in a strong rip current. They said his daughter was never in the water. But those who stood on the beach that day tell a different story. They saw him fight the waves. They saw panic, screaming, desperation. They say he was trying to save someone, his daughter. And when he was pulled under, they say she was treated by the Red Cross, coughing, soaked, terrified. So why lie? Why erase the daughter from the narrative? Why deny the one thing that could make Malcolm a hero, his final act of love? The Costa Rican police force, known as the OIJ, issued their statement quickly. Too quickly. They painted a version of events that erased the chaos, the humanity, the heroism. They claimed Malcolm went into the water with a friend, that the girl was never near the ocean, that the current simply overpowered him. Case closed. But the local police chief, someone who was actually there, gave a different account. He confirmed Malcolm was pulled in while trying to rescue his daughter, that the girl was treated by paramedics on the beach, that Red Cross officials were involved, that others rushed into the water to help. So why would the OIJ, who weren't even present, publish a statement that contradicts their own officer? Why silence the truth? Because a heroic death raises questions. It demands answers. And maybe, just maybe, someone didn't want those questions asked. But the contradictions don't end at the beach. Less than 24 hours after Malcolm's body was recovered, his wife allegedly began making moves, legal moves. Not to plan a funeral, not to help their daughter process the trauma, but to secure the estate. $12 million in assets allegedly transferred into her name. Overnight, while the world still mourned, she allegedly moved in silence and speed. No public mourning, no candlelit tributes, no broken widow sobbing on camera, just paperwork. Cold, calculated, precise. Reports began surfacing that she had denied her daughter one final goodbye, that she had refused an autopsy, that she pushed for a fast cremation, eliminating any trace of foul play. And that's when the whispers began. The word on everyone's lips. Why? Why the rush? Why the silence? Why the contradictions? And then, from the shadows of memory, a name emerged. One that carried pain, love, and unresolved history. Regina King. She didn't need to speak. She didn't know the world anything. But she did speak. Not with rage. Not with accusations. But with grief. With sorrow. With grace. She posted a photo. Malcolm on his motorcycle. The caption. Some people leave a lasting imprint, not just for who they were, but for the energy they carried. And then, ride in power. But behind those simple words was a storm. Because this wasn't just about grief. It was about memory. About heartbreak. About the man who had left her, suddenly, brutally, on Valentine's Day. They had once been a dream couple. Two Black Hollywood legends united. Quiet. Private. Powerful. until one day he asked her and her son to leave. No warning, no explanation, no closure. She later admitted, "I don't have a favorite Valentine's memory. Someone broke up with me on Valentine's Day." That someone was Malcolm, and he didn't stop there. He sent her flowers afterward. "I still love you," the card read. She threw them in the trash. But the story didn't end there. Regina's only son, her world, would take his own life years later. A loss that no mother should endure. A grief that never leaves. And now, as Malcolm vanished into the sea, Regina stood alone again, mourning another man who disappeared without goodbye. But there's something deeper beneath Regina's quiet tribute. Something unspoken. Because before his death, Malcolm had started acting strange. He spoke in cryptic interviews. "Some stories never make it to the light," he said. In another podcast, he talked about knowing things that keep you up at night. Then came a now-deleted post. "The truth may be buried, but it always remembers how to breathe." What truth? Then came the name Theophiles, a word that meant nothing until it meant everything. According to leaked emails, Malcolm had contacted a journalist friend. He referenced a folder, encrypted, protected, called Theophiles. He claimed the contents were explosive, that they involved names, power, secrets that could shift the foundation of the entertainment world. And he ended the message with one chilling line. "If anything happens to me, know it wasn't an accident." Suddenly, everything changed. Was he silenced? Was his death a message? Was someone trying to bury more than a man? Because here's what doesn't make sense. Why was the story about his daughter denied by authorities? Why were lifeguards not on duty at a dangerous beach? Why was the autopsy refused? Why did the wife allegedly push for cremation? Why the rush to secure millions? And why was Theophiles never mentioned in the media? Social media exploded. Reddit threads lit up. Conspiracy forums started connecting dots. Some said Malcolm had discovered something. Files involving celebrities, politicians, possibly even a network of influence too big to name. Something that tied together death, money, and power. Something that needed to be buried. But the internet doesn't forget. Fans began to scour his old interviews, appearances, and posts. They found strange patterns, offhand comments, subtle warnings, mentions of dangerous truths, and stories that scare people. One fan discovered a tweet he had liked that said, "Sometimes silence isn't peace. It's protection." And then nothing. No further statements from the wife. No press conference. No official investigation. Just a sealed coffin and a vanished man. But Regina King remained. Her silence now speaks volumes. Her grief feels layered. This wasn't just mourning a man. It was remembering a wound that never closed. And maybe, just maybe, it was seeing the same patterns play out again. Patterns she recognized. Patterns she feared. Because what if Theophiles wasn't just a theory? What if it was real? What if Malcolm died protecting it? And what if it's still out there? Some believe the files are hidden, encrypted on a drive, sent to someone he trusted. A journalist, a friend, maybe even Regina herself. Because Malcolm was smart, careful. If he knew he was being watched, he would have left a trail. And if Theophiles is real, then someone is very afraid. Which makes one wonder, who stands to lose the most if the truth comes out? Not just a grieving wife with $12 million in her name. Not just a government agency issuing tidy press releases. But a system, a machine. One that silences, erases, and buries. Malcolm's story may be tragic, but it's not over. Because the truth has a strange way of rising, especially when buried beneath lies. His daughter will grow up. She will ask questions. She will want to know what really happened. And maybe one day, she'll find the answers. Maybe Regina already knows. Maybe the internet will uncover Theophiles. Maybe this time, silence won't win. Because sometimes the most powerful thing isn't what we say, it's what we refuse to stop asking. What really happened on that beach in Costa Rica? Was it a drowning or a cover-up? The waves took his body. but they didn't take his voice. And now, that voice is rising through us.
Through you.
Through every person who refuses to let this story fade. Because Malcolm Jamal Warner deserved more. More answers. More truth. More justice. And as long as his name is spoken, the silence won't last forever.